Well, I think the United States and its NATO allies are going to increase sanctions, and cutting off imports from Russia with regard to oil will be at the top of the list. But it's absolutely imperative that the United States resist Zelensky's call for a no-fly zone over Ukraine. That would greatly increase the danger of a war between the United States and Russia. And we are talking about a war with nuclear implications at that point. I don't think anyone in the United States thinks that Ukraine's security is worth taking that level of risk.
The call for no-fly zones is increasing a great deal across multiple areas, not least amongst some notable members of the U.S. political establishment and, of course, within Ukraine itself. I bring this up, and I want to examine the situation here in the context of what can happen next then, if they're not going to do a no-fly zone, if, as President Biden has already pretty much guaranteed is not going to happen. Biden has also said he's not going to send any troops in there. And yet we have this sort of backdoor element of supplying weaponry to Ukraine and the rebels in there. And I want to put this in the context of an opinion piece that you wrote very recently, in which you were very critical of the U.S.'s political approach to this situation. Do you see the U.S. approach to potential diplomacy changing in any way at all?
Well, my article focused on the previous quarter century of mismanaged relations on the part of the West with respect to Russia. That was handled about as ineptly as anyone could ever imagine, needlessly provocative. You don't move a powerful military alliance to the border of another major power and expect good results. Now, we are where we are, and we have to deal with the future. The United States has to be very careful that it does not get so involved in this war, even short of a no-fly zone, that it risks becoming a belligerent. And supplying Ukraine with weapons runs that risk. Certainly, if we provide Ukraine with fighter jets, I think that might cross a very red line as far as Russia is concerned. The last thing we want to do is to turn the current tragedy into a truly global tragedy, a World War III. And yet that is a very real danger at this point.